Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we discuss the part of every presentation that students fear the most, the questions. Not the slides, not the timing, the moment someone in the audience asks you something that you didn't expect. Before we dive in, if you find this content helpful, please like the video and subscribe the channel. Only about 20% of the viewers are subscribed and more engagement helps this content reach more students who need it. So thank you very much for that. Now, most of the stress around Q&A comes from avoidable mistakes. In this video, I'll show you how to handle questions with confidence, and specifically, we will cover how to listen so you don't answer the wrong thing, how to ask for clarifications without looking unprepared, how to acknowledge weaknesses without at the same time undermining your work, and also when it's appropriate to take the questions offline. And finally, we are going to discuss how to deal with the very truly difficult questions, those that are hostile towards you. By the end, you'll have a clear strategy for answering questions calmly, professionally, and with scientific maturity. So let's get started. One of the most common mistakes I've seen students make is not fully understanding what the question is and then answering something that they think they have been asked, but of course, this is not the case. Often, this is paired with starting to answer the question even before the person who is asking has finished asking the questions. So, this implicitly signals insecurity, but also highly increases the chances that you're going to answer something wrong. Therefore, the first suggestion is to listen to the question carefully and let them finish speaking. Then, before you start answering, pause for a second, clear your mind, breathe, and then answer. This not only shows control, but also buys you time to clarify your ideas and answer properly. Regardless of how much attention you pay to the question that is being asked, sometimes it is just impossible to fully understand it. This could be due, for example, for several factors such as noise in the room, accent of the person that is speaking, or just the question itself that is not posed in a clear way. However, I've seen many students trying to answer the question regardless of their understanding, clearly with unsatisfactory results. So, my suggestion is to ask the person who is asking the question to clarify what the question is if you don't understand it completely. There is really nothing wrong about that. Conversely, it shows professionalism, prevents long, rambling answers that miss the point, and ensure that you answer the actual question that they are asking. You can also repeat the question, for example, saying, if I understand correctly, what you're asking is, and then see if they confirm that that is the question, or maybe they prefer to rephrase it to clarify what the question is. It may happen that someone in the audience may be able to point out some weaknesses in your work, such as, for example, some strong assumptions or weak evaluations. Well, some students sometimes tend to deny that these are weaknesses at all. Understandably, they have spent months or even years working on this, and now someone shows up at my presentation and says that my work is not great, even after it is accepted for publication. Well, you need to realize that no work is perfect, and weaknesses pointed out may actually be indeed weak points of your work. And acknowledging such limitation shows your scientific maturity and academic integrity. Sometimes you may even get some good hints and ideas for future research direction to expand your work, or even collaborations. On the contrary, some students tend to acknowledge weaknesses that are really not weaknesses, but just maybe some misunderstanding throughout the presentations, with the result of undermining their work. So it is important to find the right balance between acknowledging our weaknesses and also defending certain reasonable design decisions and provide the basis for an honest and open discussion about your research contribution. Let's now move to the next suggestions. Some questions have no short answer, and you may have no time to answer them properly, for example, during a conference presentations. However, students may feel obliged to provide an answer to avoid looking disrespectful. Well, while I think that some short version of the question should be answered regardless, if the question requires extra time that is not available, well, there is nothing wrong in proposing to take that specific question offline after the presentation is over. Of course, the challenge is when is it reasonable to propose to take that question offline? To give you a personal example, I was recently giving a presentation about an interdisciplinary research topic. And one of the questions I received was so specific that at least 90% of the audience was not able to understand the question. And definitely they would have not understood the answer. So that was a perfect candidate question to take offline. There are, of course, other criteria. So, for example, you may consider if the answer requires more than 20 or 30 seconds, or if it derails from the main narrative, or if it is too technical for the general audience, or if it is a niche question from a domain expert that the general audience cannot understand. Well, if you feel the question fits on any of these categories, then you can give a short answer and propose to take the question offline. The chair of your presentation will decide if this is a good call, or instead the answer is relevant to the general audience and you need to answer it right there. Well, it is now time to discuss how to answer the most difficult questions, those that despite your preparation, it is very hard to answer. The first question that falls in this category are those for which you simply do not know the answer. This can happen when, for example, people are referring to part of the literature of specific works that you're just not familiar with. The suggestion here is, first off, not to panic and try to provide a constructive response. As an example, you can say, "We have not tested this yet, but this is a great direction that we can investigate." Or we may say, "This is something that we have not yet investigated, but we can definitely address it in our future work." But if you assess that the question is really not related to your current work, you can also respond, "Look, this is outside of the scope of our current work." However, you need to use this judiciously, since it may sound defensive and a stubborn audience may come back insisting on why you are wrong. The next type of most difficult questions, and probably the most difficult of all, are the hostile questions. And this, unfortunately, will happen. At some point in your career, you will present in front of someone who will be unfair and ask you something hostile in front of an audience. Something along these lines happened to me in a job interview, for example. At that time, a member of the audience, after less than 5 minutes into my presentation, stopped me and said, "Well, the research that you do is not computer science research." Well, to some of you that probably know me, I only do computer science research, but this was an odd question, but clearly I had no easy way to answer it. I did not have the time to start a debate about what was computer science and what wasn't. So I had to find a way to graciously respond to be able to move on. So in general, when someone asks you one of these questions, my suggestion is to stay calm, do not get defensive, and answer with phrases such as, "I see where you're coming from, let me clarify the assumption behind that question," etc. I'm pretty sure that you are not going to change that person's mind, but you will show to the rest of the audience how you are able to handle these difficult situations with grace. And very often, this says more about who you are and what a great asset you would be for that department, that research group, that company, etc. I want to conclude by noting that the best way for answering questions is to know the questions in advance. I'm not suggesting to have some of your friends asking you questions that you already know, but sometimes, if you know your work very well, you may be able to identify and predict, for example, the 5 most common questions that people are going to ask. And then for those questions, you can prepare short and polished answers. Also, for these questions, it is a good idea to have backup slides so that you can support your answers with data, with graphs, results, etc. Well, this is all for this video. I made a full video about making research presentations, so make sure you check it. I'm going to link it up there and also in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please share this content and see you next time.